Hey Zelda fans, I'm Elu from Knights of Hyrule, and this is Kooloo, Limpah, the Knights of Hyrule mailbag, where I talk about Zelda in all of its triforce glory. This week's first Zelda question comes from Jazzy, who asks, I'd like to know, what are your thoughts on the sequel to A Link to the Past? You're probably going to get a ton of these. Yes, I definitely did get a ton of questions about A Link to the Past, but of course that's a given with all the recent news. Now, I do have a lot of thoughts on this, obviously, because this is a mailbag. I'm going to share those with you. But my opinions might be a little bit negative. At the same time, I'm going to try to point out what I think is positive. Now, despite the title of this mailbag, I do not hate the idea of A Link to the Past 2. I don't hate the idea of a sequel. From what's out, you can already see that it's the same game world, as they've said, and you see that there's even some of the same spots. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you don't know that the whole world's going to be the same. But really, do you think it's not going to be? Do you think they're going to have a completely different world and then just throw in that random spot that we all know? It's that area right by the Lumberjack's house, by the sanctuary, in between the sanctuary and Kakariko Village? I mean, do you think they're going to have one big new overworld and then that section? No, of course it's going to be the same world, and sure, there'll probably be more parts, but I don't know how many more parts there might be. It's probably going to be the same thing. The good part about that is that it's familiar and we get to see a thing we all know and love in a completely different new way, even though it's kind of like the old way, but still new. The downside is that it might take away from exploration. Of course, there could be a ton more exploration while, maybe we see the old world we knew and then there's access to new parts outside of what we know. It's really hard to say at this point. What I do like is the style, and that's kind of like a personal thing. Personally, I like it because I like the top-down view, and I like that it's with, like little 3D models and everything, so that's really cool because it feels like A Link to the Past, except with 3D models. What I don't like is they took his pink hair away. I really like that. And I kind of wonder, will Bunny Link or the Dark World be back? If it's truly a sequel, then there probably won't be a Dark World anymore because Link already made a wish on the Triforce. But who knows, they can completely script the story for all we know. Is it even the same Link? I mean, it is a sequel, but is it a direct sequel like Majora's Mask is to Ocarina of Time? Or is it like a completely far away sequel like Twilight Princess is to Ocarina of Time? And what are their intentions here? Are they intending to just cash in on nostalgia? Is that it? Or do they really have some new plans? I don't really like the idea of the whole drawing. I mean, it's not that clever. It's new, but it's not that clever, and it's something we've already kind of seen with Paper Mario, so it's weird to me. I like it in Paper Mario, but I don't really find it that, unique or creative in Zelda. I see old bosses like Moldorm, and you're like, well, I already know how to defeat this boss, which, again, for nostalgia's sake, that's really great, but then, it could be bad at the same time. How many old bosses will we see? I'm sure we'll see new bosses, but are they just going to recycle old dungeons and bosses? And will there even be access to the old dungeons we know from A Link to the Past? Are we going to be going to the Eastern Palace all over again and it's just going to look different inside? Are we going to revisit the Tower of Hera? Or are we going to completely new dungeons? If we go to new dungeons, can we access the old dungeons? Because that'd be really cool if there's new unique rooms and hidden rooms that we never knew before. It's really hard to say whether it's good or bad because the impressions are both, really. It could go either way at this point. What I do like about it is that the music is orchestrated, which thank goodness, because personally I think A Link to the Past had probably the greatest soundtrack ever. And what I think it gets right is that, the sounds, they echo like they should in places that they should. So it really feels like you're in a dungeon in some places, and it feels like you're outside in some places. But now I have to wonder, is it going to be as difficult as A Link to the Past, or is it going to be really easy like the Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks games? Personally, I really do like the idea of a sequel to A Link to the Past, but I'm not so sure I'm comfortable with the direction they're going. I mean, if you're going to take the same world we know and not really change it that much, why not just remake A Link to the Past? Personally, I'm more for new games, but kind of seems like they're, being lazy. But again, I could just be being overly negative, and in a way maybe I am. Maybe subconsciously I just don't want to get my hopes too high. But at the same time, I don't want to be somebody who lets nostalgia cloud my judgment. I think that this game looks like it's trying to just cash in on nostalgia. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's going to be really, really good. But, there's not that much to say that it will be. Regardless, I'm gonna get it. It's a Zelda game, and I'm gonna enjoy it for the most part, I'm sure. It's Zelda, and it really can't be that disappointing, can it? biggest thing I'm wondering is, what are they going to do with story here? Is it going to be, you know, more focused on exploration and puzzles like the older games were, especially like A Link to the Past was, or are they going to focus more on story and make it a little more, you know, story heavy, like say Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask? To be honest, I'm not that excited about it. I think that Nintendo is just kind of throwing random lazy stuff at us for the moment while they're working on Zelda Wii U, so I kind of don't have my hopes that high for this. I think they're just kind of throwing this at us to keep us satisfied until we get Zelda Wii U, which will probably be amazing, but you know, this could be amazing too. So I'm not going to say I don't like it, I'm not going to say it's going to be terrible, I'm just going to say that, I don't know, to me, right now, it's a personal opinion, it's not that impressive. I mean, none of it is really that new, it's not that unique, and I'm just looking to be wowed when it comes to Zelda. Stewie Gaming says, what are your opinions or thoughts on the Zelda 2 RPG Wii U that was up for pre-order on Walmart's website? The only knowledge I have of this is based on my experience as a GameStop employee, and what I can tell you is that when a company finds out that there is going to be a game for sale, they will do what they can to get as many pre-orders as possible. Now, pre-orders are important because that lets them know how many games to get in stock so they can make sales. If they have an overstock of items, then obviously they've lost money. Usually in the past, companies have put up a pre-order once there was enough information on that title. But lately, more and more, companies are throwing pre-orders, making them available sooner and sooner before anything is released, because they want to know in advance, you know, what should they be purchasing so they can sell. It's just a generic title. They do that all the time. GameStop has done it, Walmart has done it, Target has done it, Best Buy has done it. It happens not only for Zelda, but for pretty much anything, especially something that was popular before. If it's going to have something within the same series or a sequel, they're going to do whatever they can. This is just something that companies do. They want to make sure they can get the sales, and if they can get their customers ahead of time, you know, before their competition, then they're going to do the best they can. This is Walmart's way of trying to compete with places like GameStop and Best Buy, so that's kind of like, you know, that's their thing, and probably GameStop's going to do it too. I bet you Target will do it too. Most places will probably do it. It's just that with Walmart, they're trying to get ahead of the game. In my opinion, I think that they're a little bit way too ahead of the game, and I don't think that throwing up just some random title because they don't really have any idea of what it's going to be like, I don't think that's very wise. But then again, probably the people they have in charge of that little department aren't very, you know, keen on the whole genre of whatever, of gaming. They probably don't really have any idea. They're probably just somebody who oversees electronics and don't really know anything about games, or the people who buy games. Then Markle says, hi Elu, can you play any Zelda music and what instruments? Do you have any suggestions for learning? Probably not really well. I can play like the piano and stuff, and not really the ocarina. I'd love to learn to play the ocarina, but I can have some problems with it. For one, I think the sound is really annoying. I don't know, it bothers me. Maybe if I could find a really low tone ocarina, then I would like it more. But at the same time, also, some of the finger holes are just too big for my little fingers. But yes, I can play some Zelda music. As for suggestions for learning, just start out with something easy and, you know, something you can recognize. I mean, if you know the song well enough, like say Zelda's Lullaby, then you can probably teach yourself to play it without actually having to really get too much into learning the instrument itself. If you can already play an instrument even a little bit, then I suggest starting out with something that, you know, you could, again, like I said, easily just hear out. Any of the ocarina songs from Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask will do, and as you learn them, you can kind of, you know, adjust them to your liking. What I do is I tend to listen to the song and try to play along with it, that way I can get the notes right, or, you know, if it's not in the same, you know, key, you can still, after you learn what it sounds like, you can adjust it in a different key. If you're brand new and don't really know any instruments, I would say pick up like a whistle. A penny whistle works really well. They're very, very cheap, and actually some of the Zelda songs kind of seem more suited for a penny whistle. Any of the music in the Wind Waker sounds great on the penny whistle. Fingering is really easy. All you have is 6 little holes. It's very easy to sound out. You can play the lower register by using wind softly, high register, a little more wind, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. But it's really easy to teach yourself, even if you don't know any music. I taught myself lots of things. I mean, I taught myself like 6 or 7 Zelda songs in like an hour. So as long as you know it by ear, you can do it. Very easy. Alright, Zelda fans, that's it for this week. I know it's short, but I'm pressed for time. I'm recording at nighttime. I kind of had it planned to record early in the day when I have more time, but stuff came up, and yeah, as always, I am just so busy lately. So I will hopefully see you guys next week. Remember to send your comments and questions in the section below. Follow on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and all that good stuff. Visit Knights of Hyrule website, and I will see you later. Bye!